then, 2 days after that Tiny Tale aired, October 8th, 2021, we got probably my favorite Mansion adaptation so far. Possibly yours too. Muppets Haunted Mansion was a Disney Plus special that gave the Muppets treatment to the Haunted Mansion. The idea of a Muppets Halloween special had been in development hell for decades, and this was finally the piece of corporate synergy to make it happen. We were all excited for this. The Venn diagram of Disney Parks fans and Muppets fans is not a complete circle, but there's a lot more overlap than exclusivity. And Disney went all out in promoting this. There were promotional displays at Disneyland, in the Mr. Lincoln lobby, and outside the Esplanade. It was great to go to the home of the original Haunted Mansion and see promotion for Muppets Haunted Mansion. Even though, I don't know why they didn't bother making the bus concave on this display, like that wouldn't have been any more expensive than making them not follow you. And also, making us associate Muppets with 3D in Disneyland, kind of a dick move. Now, Allie and I reviewed the special when it came out on our Patreon podcast, link in the description. Muppets Haunted Mansion came out today, and we've already watched it twice.
Yep.
And, yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Okay, episode over. And now, looking back on it 2 years later, I still love it. Maybe it's not the best narrative, but as a jumble of things I like, it makes me happy. Essentially, the special treats the ride like a literary text, such as Christmas Carol or Treasure Island, and has the Muppets reenact it, but it also exists as a story in the Muppets world, so the Muppets are playing ghosts, but they're also playing themselves.
Guess who I am? I'm Kermit! And Kermit is me, get it?
They are pulling off the couple swap costume much better than Minnie and Daisy did. There's plenty of celebrity cameos, maybe too many. Some are inexplicable, and some are taking the roles of ghosts it would have been fun to see Muppets play, but I think the writers really wanted to make sure we don't see familiar Muppets as ghosts until we get inside the mansion.
Everything here will seem familiar.
But while some of the cameos are inexplicable, others make perfect sense.
There's a smudge on the crystal again.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Higher.
It's like taking care of my mother. With its short runtime, this special doesn't really have enough time to do everything it wants to do, both be a Muppet reenactment of the Haunted Mansion and an emotional story for Gonzo, but it still does the latter better than Muppets from Space did, and this special hits best when it's marrying Mansion and Muppet moments that just fit naturally together, like matching the ballroom scene with At the Dance, or Statler and Waldorf's box with the Doom Buggy. The humor of the Muppets is not the exact same humor as the humor of the Mansion, but it blends a lot better than the humor of Eddie Murphy does.
Don't worry, folks. We're not going to be explaining all the jokes.
I like the original songs all okay. Putting the existing epitaphs to music makes a lot of sense, although I feel like the Imagineers who wrote all those deserve songwriting royalties. And the segue into Grim Grinning Ghosts works, even though the use of it is far too brief. The Be Our Guest / Muppet Show theme mashup that is Life Hereafter is also pretty catchy, but the joke wears a bit thin. But again, the mashup of mansion architecture and the Muppet Show set is just Swedish chef's kiss. And parts of this just feel like it's making up for the mistakes of the Eddie Murphy movie, like doing a better job with the Stop the Wedding climax, and remembering when characters are driving away that there are hitchhikers. I like Will Arnett's take on the ghost host, and I love Taraji P. Henson as Constance. Speaking of Hensons, this is the first Muppet project in ages to have Brian Henson perform. Sadly, this might be because it was easier to get him back if he didn't have to share a set with Steve Whitmire. Almost every currently workable Muppet makes an appearance, which was apparently as much a budget-conscious thing as it was a fan service thing. They just had to use every resource they had. Being filmed pre-vaccine, there were a lot of shortcuts that had to be taken in production. It shot on those Mandalorian screens instead of real sets, and there seems to be as much digital animation in here as there is puppetry, which is probably inevitable when you're working with ghosts, but still, part of the appeal of both the ride's atmosphere and the Muppets at their best is how tactile everything seems, and that is missing here. But despite every nitpick I may have, this special has the heart I want from both the Muppets and the Mansion. Maybe some other adaptations were better at capturing the Mansion's scary side, but to date, this is far and away the best translation to another medium of the Mansion's playfulness.
So hurry back, we would like your company.